have a feeling I had more fun than you did this weekend.
I bet you did.
Yo, Frank, what'd you bring me?
Hey, get out of here.
I thought you were gonna bring me a girl.
Welcome to Gateway, Leone.
Pay my debt.
To the state.
Lock-Up is a late 1980s American prison drama that centers on the idea that freedom is not only about physical release, but also about dignity, control, and survival within a system designed to break the human spirit. The story focuses on Frank Leone, an inmate who has already paid most of his debt to society and is counting the final months of his sentence with quiet patience. He is not portrayed as a hardened criminal stereotype, but as a man who has adapted to prison life, earned respect through discipline, and learned how to stay out of trouble. The film uses his perspective to explore how power operates behind prison walls and how easily that power can be abused when it is placed in the hands of someone driven by personal hatred rather than justice. Frank Leone's situation changes abruptly when he is transferred without warning from a relatively calm minimum security facility to a brutal maximum security prison. This transfer is not motivated by law, rehabilitation, or safety, but by revenge. The man behind it is Warden Drumgoole, a cold and authoritarian figure who sees Leone not as an inmate, but as an unfinished conquest. Years earlier, Leone humiliated Drumgoole by exposing his cruelty, and that single act of defiance has festered into an obsession. The film establishes early that Drumgoole's authority is absolute within the prison, and he intends to use every rule, punishment, and manipulation available to make Leone suffer during what should have been the final stretch of his incarceration. The contrast between the two prison environments is central to the film's tone. Leone's original prison is shown as structured but humane, a place where inmates work, form friendships, and maintain a sense of purpose. When he arrives at the new facility, the atmosphere shifts immediately. The maximum security prison is harsh, loud, and oppressive, filled with violent inmates, corrupt guards, and a constant sense of danger. This sudden shift underscores how fragile Leone's stability really is, and how quickly a person's mental strength can be tested when stripped of familiar routines and allies. Sylvester Stallone's portrayal of Frank Leone is built on restrained intensity rather than explosive action. Unlike his more famous roles, Leone is not a man looking for a fight. He wants to survive, keep his head down, and make it to his release date. Stallone emphasizes quiet resilience, showing Leone absorbing humiliation and injustice without losing his core sense of self. His physical presence still communicates strength, but the performance is more internal, focusing on endurance rather than domination. This approach makes Leone relatable as an ordinary man caught in an extraordinary abuse of power. Donald Sutherland's performance as Warden Drumgoole provides a chilling counterbalance. Drumgoole is not loud or openly sadistic. His cruelty is calculated, bureaucratic, and deliberate. He hides his vendetta behind regulations, disciplinary reports, and institutional language, which makes his actions more disturbing. Sutherland plays the character with icy precision, presenting a man who believes he represents order and discipline while actually embodying corruption and moral decay. His calm demeanor reinforces the idea that the most dangerous forms of evil often operate behind a mask of legitimacy. John Amos plays Captain Meisner, one of the prison officers who becomes a crucial figure in the story. Unlike Drumgoole, Meisner represents a more ethical approach to authority. He believes in rules, but also understands the difference between discipline and cruelty. His interactions with Leone introduce moral tension within the prison staff itself, showing that not everyone is comfortable with Drumgoole's methods. Through Meisner, the film explores the idea that institutions are made up of individuals, and even within corrupt systems, there are people struggling to do what is right. As Leone tries to adapt to his new surroundings, the prison becomes a psychological battleground. Drumgoole systematically isolates him by separating him from supportive inmates, assigning him degrading tasks, and provoking violent encounters with dangerous prisoners. Each act is designed to push Leone toward breaking a rule so that Drumgoole can justify extending his sentence or placing him in solitary confinement. The tension of the film lies not in whether Leone can physically overpower his enemies, but in whether he can maintain self-control long enough to outlast Drumgoole's campaign of harassment. The supporting inmates play an important role in shaping the prison's social landscape. Some see Leone as a threat, others as a potential ally, and a few as an example of quiet resistance. These interactions reveal the unspoken codes that govern prison life, where respect is earned through consistency rather than words. Leone's refusal to submit to intimidation without resorting to unnecessary violence earns him cautious respect, but it also makes him a target. The film carefully balances moments of solidarity with moments of betrayal, emphasizing how survival often depends on difficult choices. The narrative gradually builds toward confrontation, but it avoids turning the story into a simple revenge fantasy. Leone's greatest challenge is not defeating Drumgoole, but enduring him. The warden's power is institutional, meaning Leone cannot simply fight back without severe consequences. This dynamic reflects a broader theme about systems of authority and how individuals within them can be trapped by rules that are meant to protect order, but can be twisted to serve personal agendas. The film suggests that true strength lies in resisting dehumanization, even when the system is designed to strip it away. Emotionally, the film also explores what Leone has waiting for him on the outside. His relationship with his girlfriend provides a glimpse of normal life and reinforces what he stands to lose if Drumgoole succeeds. These moments are deliberately brief, emphasizing how distant freedom feels once Leone is trapped in the maximum security prison. The outside world becomes a symbol rather than a reality, making Leone's struggle not just about release, but about preserving hope. The pacing of the story reflects the slow grind of prison life. Days blur together, punishments accumulate, and small victories feel significant. This structure helps the audience feel the weight of time passing, especially with Leone's release date constantly in mind. The closer he gets to freedom, the more dangerous Drumgoole becomes, creating a sense of escalating tension. The film uses this countdown to maintain suspense without relying on constant action. When the story reaches its climax, it does so by exposing the limits of Drumgoole's control. The confrontation is not purely physical, but moral, revealing how obsession can lead to self-destruction. Drumgoole's need to dominate Leone ultimately exposes his own corruption, proving that unchecked authority can consume the person who wields it. Leone's victory, when it comes, is not about revenge, but survival and vindication. Lockup was released in 1989, a period when prison films often focused on brutality and rebellion. What sets this film apart is its emphasis on psychological endurance rather than large-scale uprising. It reflects late 1980s concerns about institutional power, individual rights, and the potential for abuse within closed systems. The film fits within the era's action-drama landscape while offering a more contained, character-driven story. The trailer for the film emphasized tension, confinement, and personal rivalry, presenting it as a dramatic struggle between two strong personalities rather than a traditional prison riot narrative. It highlighted Stallone's physical presence while also suggesting a darker, more introspective role. This positioning helped distinguish the film from more straightforward action projects and framed it as a serious, dramatic challenge for its lead actor. From a filmmaking perspective, the direction by John Flynn keeps the visual style grounded and claustrophobic. The prison is shot as a maze of concrete, steel, and shadows, reinforcing the feeling of entrapment. The camera often lingers on faces rather than action, allowing performances to carry emotional weight. This restrained approach supports the story's focus on internal conflict and psychological pressure. The writing by Richard Smith and Jeb Stewart build the narrative around simple but effective ideas: power, revenge, and endurance. Drumgoole's manipulation is often subtle, making it more believable and more disturbing. Leone's responses are measured, reinforcing his determination to survive without losing himself. Over time, Lock Up has been viewed as one of Stallone's more underrated dramatic performances. While it does not abandon his action star image, it channels it into a quieter, more controlled portrayal. The film demonstrates how physical strength can be rendered almost useless within an unfair system, shifting the focus to mental resilience and moral integrity. In the end, Lock Up is less about prison as a place and more about prison as a state of mind. It examines how authority